Welcome into NFL Power Rankings. I'm Colleen Wolfe alongside Maurice Jones-Drew. He's letting that beard fly.
That's right. To the Super Bowl, baby.
And Elliot Harrison. Weird week. I wonder how that is reflecting the rankings here.
Weird rankings. I mean, for the first time in 3 years, got a pretty famous team not in the top 10. Got another team that's in the top 10 for the first time since I've been doing this. And a team at number 2 that's never even been anywhere near that high before.
Yeah, and you've been doing this for a while.
Yeah, 7
years. Let's start with the top 10. And the Chiefs, they are still in that number 1 spot, the only undefeated team.
Yeah, you know, you look at Kansas City, and did they play their best game against the Redskins? No. But they had 2 offensive line starters hurt going in. Then they lost one in the first quarter. How many teams can win with 3 offensive linemen hurt? They had no D Ford, no kicker, and yet they were still able to win the game.
I know one team could do it, and we'll talk about that later, but the Chiefs, they're finding ways to make plays. Alex Smith is doing a great job. He is my first quarter MVP. He's put this team on his back. When they need a big play, he finds either do it with his legs or he does it with his arm.
Travis Kelce doing that dance in the end zone, too. I see you. Okay, how about the Lions? They're at number 2. And look, they're 1 touchdown away from being 4-0 right now.
That's right. And look out, TV term. And that little tease I gave at the top, I said one team is at 2 that's never been this high. It's the Detroit Lions. But you know what? When you talk about the most consistent teams in the league through 4 weeks, it's Kansas City in the AFC and the Lions in the NFC. They've got a loss with an asterisk.
Well, I was going to say, Elliot calls it a market correction for his power rankings. The league does it as well. Sometimes when you're not supposed to lose games, it kind of bites you in the butt. I think that happened to the Falcons against the Bills. But, Detroit has been in every game, and they've been dominating in every game as well.
And they're running the ball now, too.
Yes, I love that.
Number 3 are the Eagles. And MJD, you totally agree with this, right?
No. I appreciate that. The reason I don't agree with it is this. The Packers should be there. They have 2 offensive tackles out. They have guys, running backs going out, and yet they're still winning games. I feel like the Packers should be number 3. When they get healthy, they're going to be tough. I'll tell you this much. You play the Eagles in Philly, you play the Eagles in Antarctica. You can play them in Antioch, California if you want. If the Packers do, they'll win regardless.
I think in Antioch, Green Bay would win, but not anywhere else. Injuries are part of it. And so when you mention the offensive line injuries and running back, that's part of it. And right now, Philadelphia is a healthier team, I think, and the Eagles have been very consistent this season.
One of the things that concerns me about the Eagles are the corners. And that's been an issue for a while. But Rasul Douglas, he got burned a couple times in this game. He needs help.
It's been an issue for Green Bay, too, when they haven't played Mike Lennon.
Right, that's true.
Intercepted by Chase here. He took it away from the intended receiver.
Todd Gurley nearly cleared another defender.
Got it! Touchdown, Buffalo!
Tyrod's growing up. Cooper Kupp goes in untouched.
Le'Veon Bell is down the field.
Gurley's going to go. 10-5, touchdown, L.A.
This is what we've been talking about.
Whoa, touchdown!
Bills brought terrific pressure.
Le'Veon Bell caps a great afternoon.
Great afternoon for Bell. Here is a full list, the unveiling of the top 10 here. Those Steelers at number 6. A lot of teams creeping up, Elliot.
Yeah, absolutely. The Broncos creep up after beating the Raiders. Also, the Redskins drop, but not a big drop. They played Kansas City very tough.
Okay, so why do you have the Steelers ahead of the Bills, even though the Bills, they beat a tougher opponent this week?
I agree. Pittsburgh did blow out the Ravens, but the Steelers have been inconsistent this year, admittedly. The thing that concerns me when it comes to Buffalo versus Pittsburgh is that the Steelers, they can do it on offense, and you know they can do it on offense, and they've just been inconsistent so far to the start of the season. Buffalo, I don't know that they can do it on offense. Their defense is completely carrying that team right now. That said, it's close because the Bills' defense is best in the league right now.
You know, I don't say this a lot, Elliot, but you're wrong. And let me show you why you're wrong, Elliot.
A couple
Please
times today.
come this way. I'm sorry. The chair almost broke everything. But let's get over here to the balance of power.
8 times.
This is my issue. Okay. I love Le'Veon Bell. I love what they do in the running game, but they just got on track this week. Buffalo's been doing a better job. I have to give the rush offense to the Buffalo Bills here. Now we get to pass offense. That's very. No, it's not even Steven.
Had a couple bad games, too.
No, it's not even Steven. Pass offense, I'm going to go ahead and give that to Ben Roethlisberger. When we look at the defense, I'm going to be very gentle and go ahead and give both of those, even though to the Buffalo Bills. And you know what? And we know that their defense has scored all over the place. They did a great job of stopping Matt Ryan. But when it comes to coaching, I got to give it to the guy that has the ring. You know the rules. And that's why I say the Buffalo Bills are better. It's very simple.
I think I think it's about as even as you can get, guys. One thing I will say, though, about coaching, I'll give it to Tomlin, but, boy, Sean McDermott's done a heck of a job. People thought they were going to mail it in this year. He's got them at 3-1 and the number 1 defense right now.
That defense looks awesome right now.
They do. And there's another thing, because we've disagreed a ton on this show, but there's one thing I think you finally got it right, Elliot. You finally got it right. Let the lights grow. Let it go. That's right. My Rams are at number 10. I can't believe this. Are you kidding me? So ridiculous. This is what it's all about.
MJD, congratulations.
Thank you. It's been a lot of hard work. Right. This is the first time ever, Elliot, that you see it clearly now. It's unbelievable.
All right, so the Rams are at 10. For the first time ever, they're in the top 10.
Yeah, that's true. We've had a lot of first evers with the crazy weeks, but I watched every play of this game, and the most impressive part, I know everyone keeps pointing out LA's offense, and they should be pointed out. But in the second half, they go in, Wade Phillips adjusts what he's doing out there. They gave up 24 points in the first half. They shut down the Cowboys in the second half, and it was because the defense changed. The Rams won this game.
Yeah, even Jerry Jones complimented Wade Phillips on the adjustments that they made at halftime.
Well, early on, Aaron Donald, he's still trying to figure out his role in this defense. And so the only way they were able to stay in this game is because the offense was scoring points. I mean, 7 field goals. I mean, I want to say they scored on every drive but 2. Mm-hmm. I mean, they were moving up and down the field. Again, this defense for the Dallas Cowboys is going to be their Achilles heel, and Todd Gurley's playing at an MVP level right now. 7
touchdowns for him right now. I can't wait to see how the Rams do against Seattle this week. Here's a look at 11 through 20. And, Elliot, a lot of teams on here sort of falling.
Yeah, no kidding. The Titans, a huge faller this week, one of the biggest, along with the Raiders. And then you see Seattle, I gave them a small bump. They beat the Colts at home, but
look at number 12, the Patriots. They're out of the top 10 for the first time since 2014.
Yeah. Stop drinking that juice. That's what happened. Listen, look, Elliot, I told you this. I'm sorry, I got to go first. I'm not going to let you go.
Very excited about
this. I told you from week 1, that defense is going to be the Achilles heel to this team. You have to stop people. What they've done in the prior years was that they had better players on defense. They had first-round picks on the defensive line. You had Darrelle Revis. You had better corners. They don't have that right now, and everyone keeps saying Bill Belichick is going to find that guy. Well, I'm waiting until Bill Belichick can cross those lines and go out there and rush the quarterback, because you're going to find one on this team.
Once I saw how bad the defense was 2 weeks in a row, I moved them down. The defense wasn't that bad against the Saints, but it was terrible. Last week it was terrible. This week, I will say this, though, about New England. Even though I dropped them heavy, this was a really close game. It's not like Carolina went in there and beat them 30-7. I mean, this game came down to 1 possession.
Yeah, they also did it in Foxborough. Here's a look at the latest rankings, 17. And Elliot, what was the biggest issue you had here?
Well, first of all, I think this is
Bears
a good...
at 24.
No, not the Bears at 24, but boy, dropping the Raiders so far.
Yes.
And the Vikings with injuries.
All right, well, for a little bit more on some of these teams, let's do too high, too low. I'm going to start with MJD here. You like this one the best?
This is my favorite, and I'm going to start with the
Falcons at 4.
They're too high right now. You have injuries to Julio Jones, Mohamed Sanu, Matt Ryan. We kind of gave him that elite word, said he's an elite quarterback. Well, elite quarterbacks have to win when your weapons are out, and he's not doing that. He's turning the ball over at a high rate the last couple of weeks. Those are issues.
I think this is fair. I agree with MJD that they could have been a little bit lower, but they do have a chance to get healthier. But other than Detroit and Kansas City, who's been consistent week in and week out? Who?
Consistently turning the ball over.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, how about this one? The Vikings, as you just said. Number 18. What do you think, MJD?
They're too low. They're too low. And I think because Case Keenum is your quarterback, you don't have your starting quarterback. They have other guys going on. I know Dalvin got hurt, but they had Latavius Murray there as insurance. You put him in there, and they still should have won this game. They had a great chance of doing it. I think when Sam Bradford comes back, they go on a big push there.
I don't think they should have won this game. Detroit's won both games last year there and this year. And he just mentioned injuries with the Falcons, and then he just brushes right past the quarterback and Dalvin Cook being injured.
I actually dropped them a spot. I said they were 18. They're actually 17 on your list.
Keep trying to drop
them back. What about the Giants here?
That's too high at 27, because right now they're finding a way to lose.
Where are you going to put them?
They got to be down there with the bottom with the Browns. I mean, they're 0-4.
They need to win a game.
They haven't won a game.
So are the Chargers. They're 0-4.
Those guys need to go down. They're finding ways to lose. In this league, it's about finding ways to win. They're not doing that. Again, this game was won, and they let it go.
At least they're in these games.
That's true.
That's the reason why they're not 32.
Well, let's talk about the biggest movers and shakers of the week. And power up, power down. Those Panthers are up. They're shooting up the charts, up 11 spots to number 11.
Yeah, I'm going to give my favorite phrase that MJD equally loves, a market correction. Last week, they were in the low 20s, which is the back end of kind of the middling teams. You only have 117 spot. You'd love to put about 8 teams there. I would have loved to have had Carolina there last week. So I made an adjustment because they won this game. They've won 3 games. They had one bad one.
Cam is back. They'll keep moving up. I'm not worried about anything else.
Yeah, their offense is finally clicking. How about the Raiders?
I'm hurt.
They fall 12 spots. They lose their quarterback for at least 2 weeks.
Okay, but I mean, MJD, I don't think you can disagree with this. You're talking about them right now with E.J. Manuel. I think they can lose to anybody. And we saw where they were last year when Carr got hurt.
I'm sick. I'm in a group chat with all my homeboys. And there's a couple Niners fans, and then they keep saying, like, you guys are a team that when your quarterback goes down, everything falls apart. I think that's every team, but especially this team. We saw that last year when Carr went down. Well, not the Vikings, you're right.
DJ Manuel's no Case Keenum.
He's not. But listen, Derek Carr, I think, is the heart and soul of this team. He has to get back healthy for them to win.
Well, MJD, who's your power player of the week?
This kid right here.
Which quarterback?
Deshaun Watson. This guy here, he steps in the role. You start Tom Savage. I was appalled by that. I was like, are you kidding me?
That?
Why would you do that? This guy comes in, not only do you start winning games, the defense plays better, the team starts to respond. You put up 57 in a pro game? Come on, that's disrespectful.
He looks great, and the entire offense now has so much more creativity than it had before.
They play the Chiefs this week, and this is going to be the key for them to win.
That is the key. We're going to focus in on that number 15 and number 19 spot, the Saints and the Cowboys. For more on that, MJD and Elliot are talking balance of power.
Elliot, you know what? Let me say this first. I know you're a Cowboys fan, so you may not like this a lot. You're that kind of fan. So let me get into it right now.
I'm that kind of guy, huh?
The Saints, they're doing a great job, back-to-back wins. Defense is playing better. But when it comes to offense, obviously rush offense, we got to go the Cowboys. That's just one of those deals. Now, when you talk about Drew Brees and what he's been able to do, it's been a lot of check down. It hasn't been the down-the-field throws that we're used to seeing. Okay. But when I see Dak in that offense and what he's been doing to Bryce Butler the last couple of weeks, and then Terrence Williams and Jason Witten and Dez Bryant, booyah!
No way.
Baby.
No way.
Dak Prescott's been
Dak's got to complete balls in contested windows, okay?
So does Drew.
Drew does it all the time. You
When?
kidding me? You're taking Dak Prescott over Drew Brees.
Yes, that offense and those weapons over Drew Brees.
I don't think Prescott's as good as Romo yet, and Romo wasn't as good as Brees. There's no way I can go with you on this.
Yeah, that's your fault.
Prescott's done a good job. Don't get me wrong.
This is not your segment.
I'm such a homer. I'm telling you the Saints.
I know. That's what kind of fan you are. You're the one that just tries to bash your quarterback. Anyways, let's get to the defense. Look, I get it. The Saints have played great, but this rush defense and pass defense, come on, there it is. I'm giving it to the Cowboys. They shut down the Cardinals. They had a bad week against the Rams, but the Rams have scored 40 on everybody. That doesn't mean anything.
Look, they played the Panthers and Dolphins. Decent rushing attacks shut them down. The Cowboys don't have Sean Lee.
The Dolphins haven't scored a point in two weeks.
Okay. Let me guess. You're going to give this to Jason Garrett, too.
Now, when I go to coaching, you know the rules.
Let's just give it to Jason Garrett.
The rules, you touch that. If you got a ring, you get the ding. That's what it comes down to. Give Sean Payton that, and that's what it comes down to. You're wrong. They should be above the Saints.
So I'm such a biased Cowboys fan that I'm arguing with you that the Saints have actually
I can't believe you're not on that side.
Well, that's what kind of fan he is. He's going to say all the bad stuff about the Cowboys, and then when they get back, they're like, well, I knew they would.
So a lot of good games here, but I want to know which will have the biggest impact on the rankings for next week.
Listen, Colleen, you already said it. It's the Rams and the Seahawks. Right now, they're battling for that division. The Rams can score. They're putting up points. It's been great to watch them do that. They have a ton of additions, and the defense is kind of finding their way. We've seen Seattle's defense play well over the last couple of weeks. Russell Wilson, is this offense for real? We don't know that yet. They kind of put up points on the Colts team. We'll see come Sunday.
At halftime, the Colts were right there with them.
Right, and that's what I think makes that game interesting is the upside of Seattle's offense and the Rams' defense. For me, though, I'm going Patriots-Bucks. This is a game that I circled on our schedule. It's on our air Thursday night before the season. I thought the Patriots would be undefeated and Tampa Bay was going to upset them. Now you have the Bucks not playing well and the Patriots not playing well. I think one of these two teams is going to come out a lot stronger.
The Bucks will.
I knew you were going to say it'd be Tampa Bay.
Yeah, they will.
Let's get to some more awesome things. Your closing arguments here. We're going to put some time on the clock. 30 seconds, go.
I see the clock. All right, guys, going bottom of the league here. Indianapolis Colts, I still believe in Jacoby Brissett. They stayed in that game. 49ers, I do think Brian Hoyer gives them the best chance to win. Cincinnati Bengals, seen a lot better play from that offense than Andy Dalton.
Bill Lazor.
New York Jets, who would have thought they would be 2-2? Start showing them some respect. And the Chicago Bears, making the difficult change from Mike Glennon to Mitch Trubisky. I hope that gives them a W because the front seven is still pretty good.
So when they lose with them, what happens?
I think you stay with them.
No, I'm saying, do they drop or do they go up?
How far do they drop in the rankings? You will find out next week when we have Week 6 power rankings.